Top Trader is brought to you by Sanlam iTrade and powered by Pegasus, now with a new Iris trading platform.
This morning when I woke up, there was a certain poem that came to mind, and I thought I wanted to share some of the Rudyard Kipling poem, If, with you guys. It's the famous one that ends where he says, "Then my son, you will be a man." And seeing that this has been a journey about learning and about growing, I thought I wanted to just share some of the comments from, or phrases from the poem with you. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you too, but make allowance for their doubting too. And he goes on and he says, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same. And right at the end he says, if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings and not lose your common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
Okay, so Lorena and I weren't that truthful with you guys last week. We said that today's elimination is going to be based on 1 week's trade and your returns after costs. But we have changed it. And Narina is going to explain why we have changed it.
This is not so much a change in rules as it is rather just a change in strategy. It was very important for us to ensure that we put you into a fairly stressful situation to see how you would actually trade and react under pressure. And this past week has been exactly such a pressure experience for you guys. And I must say most of you have coped extremely well with it. But that's the reason why we told you last week that it is just this 1 week that will determine your fate into the final three. Of course, this has been a 6-month-long competition, so it would be unfair to completely disregard the journey that you have taken up until here. But just to give you an idea of how we all along said to you, it won't only be your final portfolio value that will determine it, other factors will also be taken into consideration. So there are 4 different ways in which we have assessed you over this past period. And I'm going to share with you which one of you came out on top for each of those 4 particular metrics. Now, I'm going to start with the most recent one, the one of just this last week worth of trading after costs, what percentage return you were able to achieve. And you might actually think that it's very surprising, considering that he's probably the most despondent and downhearted of all the contestants.
What? Yes!
Promise you were actually the best performer over the last week. So despite all of that, congratulations. It looks like a very relieved man. But if we go back and we look at what the performance over the last 6 weeks have been, now this is a period after which we changed the rules, introduced the trading costs, where we actually limited the volume based to some more realistic volume. That was also quite a challenge, and some of you adapted better to those changing conditions than others. And the best performer over that particular period of time was Saul. Saul, I know that it's been a very tough 6 weeks for you. Certainly you've been traveling, you've had a lot of religious holidays, you've had a death in the family, and it's really not been an easy time. And I think to have been able to come out on top during a period like this is testament to the journey that you've taken and how much you've learned. So well done on doing that. If we look at the entire 6-month period and we look at how the contestants have performed over this time, they started out with a nominal value of 100,000 Rand. I'm sure some of them would wish that was real money that they had, especially when you look at the rate at which some of the contestants were able to grow their portfolio values. Now, we must reiterate that the level to which they've been able to grow it is certainly not realistic. Not only were trading costs not taken into consideration, but the trading volumes were also not realistic. In some instances, the traders were able to execute trades that represented more than 10 times the daily volume in that particular share. So the winner of the total nominal portfolio, the biggest portfolio value, actually managed to improve his portfolio to over 1.2 million Rand. But unfortunately, that was not real life. But Jared, yes, you were the person who were able to play within the rules the best way and actually generate a phenomenal theoretical return. Finally, we also told you all along that we would be looking at other issues as well, and I almost want to call them qualitative measures. How well you kept us updated on your strategy during the time, how well you stuck to your strategy, how well you adapted to the changing conditions, to what extent you made use of the entire universe of shares that we gave you to trade in and not just stuck to a few single ones. That one was actually quite a tight call, I must say, and it also didn't count for a particularly big amount. But Saul, once again, you did come out on top in terms of those measures. So I think playing according to not just the rules, but also the guidance that the mentors have been giving you certainly have paid off for you. Well done.
Okay, so it's crunch time. It's time now to say goodbye to 2 of you, and 3 of you will be in the top 3, and of course then make it through to the final round. So I think that if we could have you all standing, and we're going to start the elimination round, and Nerina, you're going to start over.
Yes, I'm going to start with our first contestant that makes it into the top 3. And I really feel so sorry for him. And that's the only reason why I'm mentioning his name first, rather than in any particular order. But our first contestant to make it into the top 3 is our winner of the last week, Promise.
Promise, if you could just have a seat.
You're safe for now. Well done, Promise. The next person that I would like to announce making it into the final, I think maybe it's fairly obvious because he's done fairly well through the different ways in which we measured him, not just coming first in some, but also second in many of the others. Saul, yes, you're right. Take a bow. You're into the final. Well done.
Congratulations. We're left with 3 of you. 1 of you will make it into the top 3, and 2 of you will be leaving Top Trader today. We ask that the 2 who are eliminated please leave the set immediately, and the person who does make it into Top Trader's top 3 sit down.
This is it, guys. How the nerves feeling? Heart beating fast. The third person to make it into Top Trader, and I just reiterate that you've all been very worthy contestants, and it was quite a tough, and it wasn't a choice, it was an analytical decision, measuring you quantitatively and qualitatively. This is not a popularity contest. This is not about who do I like most, who did I get along with the best, but it certainly has been the third person to have on all those measures perform as well as the others, and therefore deserve to be in the final 3 is Gary.
It was a big shock, I must say. You know, I was expecting to make it into top 3, but you know, I guess that's how the game is. You know, and you know, as soon as I break it down, it makes sense, but it's okay.
I'm going to take this forward. I will be following in this industry in the years to come. This won't be the last time you see my face in CNBC, and hopefully when you see the company underneath my name, it will be my own.
Next for me is to graduate. After graduating, the plan is to build my fund and keep trading.
So we have our top 3 contestants, Nerina.
Absolutely, and then there were 3.
A very deserved top 3, I think. Here are the competition rules for the next 1 week of trade.
Guys, all bets are off. We're starting from scratch again, but this time, reality TV is getting real. You will each be receiving a real trading portfolio of 25,000 Rand. You have 1 week to trade that portfolio. And the person whose portfolio, and of course this will include costs because it will be real trading, the person with the biggest portfolio value at the end of the week will be the winner of Top Trader 2012. But there's an additional bit of good news even for those 2 that don't make it into the final top spot, and that is that whatever profits you are able to generate over this 1 week will be yours to keep.
So if you don't make it into first position, you do walk away with some money, hopefully, if you're in second or third spot. So that, of course, is a nice sweetener to making it into the top 3. But, of course, the grand prize, 250,000 Rand, guys. Keep your eye on the prize. Good luck with the 1 week's trade.
You will be able to keep the profits if you make them, but if you lose money, then unfortunately there will not be anything for you to take home other than the experience that you've gained over this period of time. Well, we can always consider that. You know, I can give you my bank
We're
account.
talking about paper money versus real money, and of course when you do have that 25,000 Rand in your hand, it might be a very different story, and you might feel kind of like everything you've learned over the past 6 months have just gone out the back of your head. So we've got Gerard Lampen from Sanlam iTrade. He's standing by to take you through a training session.
This represents the 100-meter sprint. As you said, it's all 6 months of training. This is the Olympic Games. This is the final. So all the best, good luck, and really may the best trader win.
Now comes the very interesting part. We'll trade from Monday to Friday for 1 week on the top 100 shares only. Basically, it's the top 40 index and the mid-cap 60 index combined. Now, I want to show you how to use the Iris Investor trading platform that Sanlam iTrade uses. On the markets overview page, you again get the graphs that you saw on the landing page, and you can also get dividend declarations and things like that. There's an extract of the morning digest, some news items, some research, etc. And then we've got share data on every single share on the JSE, which you can access. Includes about 10 years of financial statements, so it's a very comprehensive share data website. So let's say we want to quickly sell. You can click on the bid. That will open a sell ticket, sell order ticket, or you click on the ask and it will open a buy ticket. So let's say we want to go and sell a Sanlam share. Click on the bid. It already enters the code then. You'll have to search for the code. It gives you the top line, the best bid and offer at that live price. So we can put in an order to say sell one at, you can put in a limit at 38.30, or you can change it, or you can put it in that market. So let's put it in that market, because that will then sell at the best price available in the market, the best bid price. Then we have to enter our password. Click on the sell button. It asks me to confirm the order.
I like that. I like that feature. At the end of Friday next week, do you count us if we're still in positions?
No, you have to close out.
We have to close out. Right. We
You
can't
have
leave
to close
anything
out
open.
in cash. That's a good question.
Close out.
So we must close out in cash. We only take the cash position.
And next week we'll have a live final episode of Top Trader, where we'll decide on and of course come up with our top trader for 2012. So do tune in next week, same time, same place, 8:30 p.m. here on CNBC Africa.
6 months, lots of training, lots of work, lots of pressure, and I think you've got us to the stage where this is what we're ready for.
Paper trading and being in the real market, such a big difference. So I think this is the best way to pick the top trader. You know, it is still over a week, it's a short time, but I think this is probably the fairest way to pick top trader.
Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm ready.